Good morning. You're here this morning with members of the SMG social media group in Denver, and we're here to continue the conversation on using social media to generate leads. I'm Debbie Davis. I've been with the group for about 4 years, and we have great conversations once a month in real life. Our group, SMG Denver Social Marketing Group in Denver, is on Meetup, where you can find us there. And if you're a local person, we'd love to have you join us for our in real life meetups once a month. We thought that we would start using Hangouts to continue those conversations because we rarely have enough time to cover everything. So thank you for being here, and I'd like to introduce our panel. We've got Carrie Gottschalk, John Harris, and Peter Hodges, and I'm going to give each of you a chance to just introduce yourselves to the group, and we ask anybody who's watching right now to please leave comments. We'd love to answer your questions or get your insights on this topic of using social media to generate leads. And so we're going to start with Carrie, who's brand new to our HOA methodology here. Welcome, Carrie. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Deb. My name is Carrie Gottschalk, and I am the social media strategist at Webolutions.
And you have and you help Webolutions do what with their social media or with their clients?
I help all their clients with their entire social media strategy, content development, scheduling, any contests or marketing that may be integrated with social, and I also help them with their social media group in Denver that happens once a month.
Great. Thanks for being here. And Peter.
Hello. I'm Peter Hodges. I'm Marketing Director for Marathon Consulting and Stack Advisors. Marathon Consulting is an IT consulting firm for small and medium-sized businesses. We do strategy, system design, and ongoing support. And then Stack Advisors is a consultancy for IT providers to help them better integrate their lab tech remote monitoring tool with their client management systems.
Okay, thanks for being here. And John, you're an old hat at this. And you're muted. There you go. Sorry, you know that. I didn't have to tell you.
No, thank you. Thank you. I am John Harris. I have been involved in social media for many, many years, both in a recreational form and in a marketing form. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here to ask questions, pick everybody's brains. And I don't know why I keep
Carrie,
doing that. Carrie, Carrie is a first-timer to this particular HOA series, and I have to tell you, she's been such a valuable resource at the Webolutions meetups that it's great to have her here with us today.
It really is. It really is. And we're probably going to put a lot of pressure on Carrie this morning because during our conversation on Friday, now our conversations are always kicked off by Mike Hanberry. We're going to post some links in the comments section so folks can go to the Webolutions website where they have a social media tips page, and I'll get that link in the comment section here shortly, where people can share tips, add tips, as well as read other people's tips. And I know Carrie's been instrumental in that function at Webolutions. And then during our conversation on Friday, she was able to cite a local case study for a company that she's been helping put together the strategy for their social media, and it was really, it sounds like a powerful strategy and really interesting. So I've asked her to give us a summary of that again during this session because it really got my wheels turning on Friday, and I think that we could build off that conversation. So Carrie, if I could throw it to you.
Great, thank you, Deb. What we're doing is for Sloane's Carpet Secret, we're kind of going out and asking for the lead using social media. So what they decided to do is give away free carpet for anyone in the surrounding area, Denver, Boulder. And what you do when you host a contest like that is you can use an application called OfferPop. And that's what we're using. It's really simple, really easy to integrate, and you go and you request the information that you think you find valuable within the generation. So we are asking for first name, last name, email, and location because we do want them to be local. And with that, it's telling us, yes, these people want free carpet. They're entering for a chance to win. but they're still also interested in the company, in the product. So even if they don't win, they still provide to be a valuable lead for the company in itself.
I don't know if it's just me or if your microphone is really low. I was having a little trouble hearing you. And it looks like Sandra Watson is watching, and she might be having some problems with video. So if anyone's having a problem with video who's watching, let us know. But my video is working okay. So Carrie, again, the name of that application is?
OfferPop.
OfferPop. And what platform, what social platform do you use that on?
We're currently using it on Facebook. So it's really simple. It integrates into the top next to where you'd see likes or photos. It shows up as a square box that you can click on, and then it's a field submit for people to enter their information for a chance to win.
Okay.
And what that produces is an Excel sheet for us then with all of the contact information. It's private. It's not given out to anyone else. It's for the agency and then for the client.
So that's very directly for the purpose of generating leads, which, you know, sounds, you know, who doesn't want to win new carpeting? And so, yeah, so that's a very direct approach to generating leads. John or Peter, are you using anything specifically to generate leads, or are you mostly still exploring options?
We're doing a little bit of both. Anytime that we use any type of a specific tool, we always feel that there's a potential for improvement. So to continue to seek a better option or an additional option to add to what we're already doing, we think is just a good business practice. Right now we're using an application called Infusionsoft, and we've just entered into using this, and it ties together our social marketing as well as our email marketing, as well as our print materials and our old school post office type stuff, you know, postcards.
Right, direct mail.
Direct mail, yes. So we've just begun using this, and we're just starting to discover how powerful a tool, or the potential behind this tool. I don't have any success reports to feed you just yet, because, like I say, we just started ramping this up first part of this year. So, but I have to tell you, it's been a joy to use. It's nice to have a single control panel or dashboard where we can view all of our analytics in one spot, and it's I just know it's going to make it so easy to determine if we're on the right track or if we need adjustments.
John, can you talk to me about why you chose Infusionsoft over like Marketo or HubSpot or one of the other marketing automation tools out there?
My best guess on this, I wasn't involved in the decision-making process, but my best guess is that their sales rep did a better job.
Fair enough.
Okay. And John, can you tell me, when you're starting to use, it sounds like you're using some different approaches, different applications, how long of a time do you give it to see results? Because we know that using social media, it's not a quick turnaround or a quick hit, return on investment. How long do you run a program using a particular application before you're able to realistically assess the effectiveness of it?
Well, social media has its own unique challenges when you're trying to measure ROI. It's very difficult to link your social media presence directly with a success, unless you're linking to something like a landing page or an OtterPop campaign or something along those lines. So what we try to do with social media is not to use it as a campaign tool in and of itself, but as a campaign reinforcement tool. So we'll be running campaigns that are a little bit more targeted, like through our direct email, for instance. When we run through our direct enough, we are sending the message to people who have opted in to our message, right? So we know that we already know that these people are potentially a warm lead. So we'll market to them through the email, use the social media. Some of those posts will be used as a method to reinforce the message so that they get to see us not only in their mailbox, but they also get to see us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just to get as many touches and top-of-mind concepts out there as we can in one campaign. We tend to use platforms such as Facebook really more as a method to increase our brand awareness more than as a direct marketing tool, right? This is one way that we can get out there and live our brand. And through our recent experience with John Vahalik and the gang at Webolutions, and Peter was part of that for a period of time, we redeveloped our brand. We woke up to the fact that, well, we've been in business for over 30 years, and there was a lot of misunderstandings about who we were as a company. And as a result of that, we needed to make some serious changes in our branding efforts. And the folks at Webolutions just did an amazing job at walking us through this process and giving us the guidance and giving us the tools and teaching us in such a way that we could step out and do a portion of this on our own. And through their instruction, we realized, that social media, while it's a buzzword, it's not the end all by any stretch.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because social medias are simply the tool. And I will also want to mention that while your lower third, John, says empower me. I'm sorry, now that you're gone, I'm not looking at it. But Webolutions helped read art and imaging. Is that correct? You worked with Webolutions for the
yeah, that's correct. I'm going to change my lower third here. Just
okay.
So
yeah, read art and imaging, right? Yeah. Because I know that they've helped you with that, and I've been investigating, your website and your Facebook and watching what you guys are doing, and you're doing a great job. I want to bring up a comment here from Mia Voss, who's in our what do we call that? Our audience, I guess. So she was hearing you talk about Infusionsoft. Somebody answered her question for her when she asked what that was. But then she asks, what CRM program do you all use? And while we don't often think about CRM as a social media tool, because the middle word is relationship, client relationship management, and we use social media to develop relationships, not to promote ourselves, but to develop relationships. And I think businesses are really starting to get the hang of that, and developing, having the conversations and all that sort of thing. So, are any of you using a CRM program?
Yes. For Marathon Consulting, we use an IT-specific tool called ConnectWise. And it's similar to other CRM programs that I've had experience with in the past. But a good example of using CRM it's not specifically social media, but it's a very social approach, is we've got 27 different employees in the company, and we've tasked all of them with once a week sending me what we call a remember email. And remember that this client likes the New York Yankees. Remember that this client's son is getting married next summer. Remember that this client just had surgery and we should probably send a condolence card, or a get well card, not a condolence card. So that's one of the ways that we're using CRM to help our staff to think more socially in terms of how they approach their customer service interactions.
Great. So that's true relationship management, and it's using a social aspect. But am I the only one who has not been seeing CRM come up as a social media? But in fact, it really truly is, very social.
Because real quick, the reason I'd say it's the hub of all of the contacts that you go out to Facebook, you go out to LinkedIn, you send your e-newsletter, you do all of those things, but your CRM should have kind of a running tally of all the different touches that you're sending out.
Yeah, okay. And what I want to bring up a comment here from Sandra Watson. Great response, John Harris. Social media to reinforce other marketing campaigns, not as a standalone campaign. And I think what we're seeing here is, you know, we have a lot of tools in front of us. You try something specific. You see if you're getting a response or a, you know, the kind of response that you're looking for, and then you've got the other social aspects. And Peter, I know that in our private community, we have a private community here on Google+. It's called SMG Denver, and we invite anybody who is part of our SMG Denver meetup group to be part of that, that community. We have a few guest members in there as well, people like John Dietrich and Ronnie Binzer and Mia Voss, who have been part of my network, getting me acclimated here on Google+. But for the most part, SMG Denver private community is for conversations around topics that we discuss in real life. Now, Peter, I noticed that just yesterday or the day before, you posted something in that community about email marketing. And I think, you know, based on what you just told us, email marketing is a big part of reinforcing and customizing your social. So, you know, that I think is really important to gain a balance. John, you talked about customization. Carrie, thank you for just posting that link. You just posted a link in the comment section for the application that you talked about. Are there other insights, Carrie, that you can offer for some of the strategic work that you're doing with clients, you know, without divulging anything that is confidential information for your clients?
Yeah, I entered a lot of our tips on our tips section on the website that you shared. And what my main tip was for the event last Friday was, instead of sitting back and waiting for leads to come to you, you can use social to go out and look for them. So one thing we're constantly doing to build relationships, for example, I'll use Twitter, is in the search bar of Twitter, you can go look for people having those conversations right now about you, about your product, with questions, looking for help, looking for advice, and you can become a resource and a friend of them before you jump in and offer your product, to where they're the ones asking you what you do, and that presents an opportunity in itself.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just lost my earpiece here. And I will, I want to make sure I get that link for our tips on the website put into the comment section. So, okay, so I just brought on a client, and they are a very local local organization. They're in the plumbing industry, actually, and I'm going to start doing some identification, I guess, of communities, so I can start monitoring. Now, as far as generating leads, for me, from my point of view, and you guys tell me if this sounds like it makes sense, I will be using keywords that are related to their industry, their business, and their geographical location, and I'll be looking for keywords identifying conversations, and then you know, like start following them on Twitter and checking out their Facebook and things like that. Would you say that generating leads starts with listening and monitoring?
I would say that's the case, and it's important to figure out where to listen. With the IT provider that I'm working for, people don't go to Twitter or Facebook to talk about, man, my server room is just too full of stuff, but they do go to LinkedIn groups. So LinkedIn is where we've had the most success finding opportunities. Specifically with the Stack Advisors side, LabTech is the program that these guys are using to monitor all of the computers they're in charge of, and it's a very sophisticated program. So they've created a number of LabTech user groups on LinkedIn where they can share questions and comments and problems. So that's where we've been able to find opportunities through social. On general Twitter, the most activity you'll see for IT consulting is other people trying to find a job.
Okay, and you know what, that's interesting. John, what platform, I don't want to get too focused on just specific platforms, but do you find certain platforms are better, certain channels are better than others for generating leads for your specific type of industry?
You know, we have a diverse set of personas. And those personas vary from the what in the industry we call the advanced amateur, or the aficionado, the person who really enjoys doing some type of creative craft, whether it's painting or photography or something in between. So we go from the advanced amateur all the way up to the expert professional. So when we're crafting a campaign and looking at the channels, we have to look at who or which persona specifically we're crafting that campaign for, and then go with that specific channel. We have found that Facebook, for instance, is a great channel for us to reach out to the advanced amateur, to the hobbyist. Not so great to reach out to the professional photographer. The professional photographers have a huge presence on there, but they're treating it in a non-social way. They tend to just go up and throw up their latest, greatest images, and they have 1,000 people that like them so they can look at the pretty pictures. That's as far as it goes. It becomes really more of an online instant portfolio. So we're not getting the engagement that we need through Facebook. So we've had to reach out on LinkedIn. We're starting to find that many of the professional photographers, the guys that are real serious about their marketing, are moving over to Google+, because they're seeing a strength here, because it's such a visual marketing tool that I think it just connects with them, and it connects with their buying audience. So the channels that we use are diverse and wide, and some of our personas, social media just isn't the right channel at all. It really needs to be more direct mail or direct email. Hi, Mia.
Morning.
Good morning, Mia.
I should have a little tiara too. It might cover my hairline.
I know this is a serious conversation, but I really can't attend a hangout without a tiara. So
I've noticed it's almost like your trademark, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely her brand.
It is my brand, and it's covering up the bed head that I just, fixed for you all so I could jump in. How's everybody today?
We're great, Mia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
And I do want to, I want to, first of all, make sure that I get back to segmentation and personas again, John, that you just mentioned, so don't let me forget that. But I want to welcome Mia, and also at the same time apologize, because I just sprung this on her. We are having a little bit of an audio issue, and it seems that Carrie is very difficult to hear. Carrie, do you have laryngitis by any chance?
No, I do not.
Okay, all right, because your voice seems really, really subdued. And so Mia is, I asked Mia to come in and take a look around in our green room to see if there's anything that we might do to fix our technical issue.
She wanted me to root around.
Exactly. Thanks, yes.
The other thing I'm thinking, and sorry to hijack that for a second, why don't you have her jump out and then jump back into the call, check your volume, and just see, because it just, I think, and from watching it from the audience, and it sounded like Sandra had the same thing, that it's just very, very low. So I'm just feeling like maybe your microphone is a little muted, hon. So maybe jump out of the call. It's that version of turn it off, turn it back on again.
Exactly. So so all you have to do then, Carrie, is hit your little red telephone at the top, and then I'm going to just quickly go into a chat and send her the link again. Thank you, Mia, for that.
Sure.
And then, you know what? While I'm doing that, I would like you to pick up John and Peter as well about this persona thing, because when we're generating leads, if we're just blasting a bunch of information out there hoping that somebody's going to pick it up, that takes us an awful lot of time. John, I know that you've identified personas so that you know how to target. Maybe it's target your monitoring before you target your conversations, but the persona thing is so important in making sure that the time you spend on social media is actually effective in generating leads, because you're listening and talking to the right people. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Peter was involved in our initial discussion in persona development, so he certainly has a strong background in this as well, and it'd be great for him to chime in.
Oh, I will.
Well, you go right ahead then, sir.
No, you start us off.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. A persona is essentially it's a textual description of your ideal client. And this description of your client might contain age, typical marketing demographics, age, marital status, where do they live, level of education, type of employment, what does their spouse do for a living, et cetera, et cetera. And this information might come from one or two of, or three or four real actual clients that you would really just love to clone in your business. You know, I want 20 of these people walking in every day, let's clone them, right? So you gather their demographic information and other information about them, and from that you compile an average, if you will, of this particular client type. Now, persona generation shouldn't just be a one-time thing. You'll want to always look at your personas, maybe quarterly or every 6 months, and make sure that those personas are still applicable to the goals and direction that you want to take your business in. Add personas. You know, you may have somebody come out of the woodwork that you hadn't thought of before, that, wow, this guy was or this gal was a great person to work with, and we had a really good business relationship, and we both had some value in this. Let's look at who they are and what they do and develop a persona around them. With a persona in hand, you now have information that can guide you as to the proper channels to reach out to them. It guides you into the proper way to craft your message to speak to them. All the way down to the proper colors to use in your message, the proper typefaces to use in your message, the proper words to use in a specific message, and sometimes even the right place to put the call to action on a web page or a landing page. It really all comes down to the persona. The persona is really the outward expression of who these people are and how they live. But there's also a psycho part to this too. There's a mental part, and that's looking at how these people think. What are their values? Well, you can beam a little bit out of, or determine a little bit from, for instance, where would these people shop, right? So if they tend to shop at Whole Foods, which for those of you who might not be in the Denver area, Whole Foods is an all-natural grocer. So if they tend to shop there, chances are good that they're going to be socially aware in many areas of their life. So you might use green campaigns, or for instance, a video that talks about how green your company is, because this is something that particular persona is going to be concerned about. And Peter, I'm going to let you talk, otherwise I'll just sit here and use up the entire last of our time slot.
No problem. The thing I was thinking about, because my background's in direct marketing, sending people letters to the mail, and the powerful thing about a letter is it's one person talking to one other person. So that's the thing I would recommend thinking about with personas, is you want to narrow it down to a single person, and what's important to that person, what problems do you solve, what are they worried about, what do they need to see in order to feel comfortable about making a decision to go with you, things like that. Because as an example, I was thinking about with Read Photo, there are three I can think of off the top of my head niche social networks that I don't know if you guys have tried these, John. There's 500px.com, behance.com, and dribble with an extra b.com. These are all social networks where creatives share their work, and it's kind of like what I talked about with the lab techers getting on LinkedIn and sharing and commiserating amongst each other. Behance, 500px, and Dribble are the same thing for creatives. So that might be an opportunity, for example, to narrow your focus a little bit and reach out to those people. And then go ahead.
I was just going to say, when Carrie told us about her client, Sloane Carpeting, you guys have a pretty good understanding of their client base and the type of people. Did you guys consider persona when you were putting together the contest or that you're using on Facebook?
Yes, we did. What we do for our clients is we put together a marketing position action plan, and that consists of personas of who their target audience is. So we look at that, look at their age, look at what their activities are, what they're doing, what their habits are, and that really helped us determine what type of contest we'd host. People can give away trips, they can give away carpet, they can give away dinner, and the carpet was based around everything that just recently happened, the flooding, people's homes being destroyed, and it was really just a strategy to give back to the community as well based on the percent of the client.
Okay, so to bring it back to the social, using social media to generate leads, I just want to, I guess, really emphasize the importance of knowing, in order to do this, we need to know who we're talking to. We can't generate leads with everybody in the whole wide world, and so use social media to broadcast and blast. But an understanding of who you're talking to, finding them where they are, which takes some planning. And John, I know with Read Art and Imaging, Mariah does a lot of your social media. She was on our Hangout last week or the week before. But it is it's a process. Before you can't just use social media to generate leads. And when I saw the headline for our meetup that Mike put together for us on the 17th, it almost made me feel like, I hope people don't think social media is just for generating leads. Social media is for establishing relationships and attracting people to you, and then leads are a result of that, but it's not like it can't be your direct objective, I think.
Yeah, one thing to jump in. When I was doing research for the new content we're doing for Marathon, I found a study from Price Waterhouse Coopers in 2012. The report was called "Understanding How U.S. Online Shoppers Are Reshaping the Retail Experience." And what I thought was important was over 83% of shoppers do research before they make a purchase online. So all this social media content is indirectly generating leads. It's helping people qualify you. It's helping people decide one versus the other. So all of that stuff out there is helping that process, and it's not going to necessarily result in I put a contest out and I got 12 leads the next day.
Yeah, and that's why I was wondering how long you do you put a time frame on this while you're putting together these strategies, and we say we're going to run this not for 3 days but for 3 months, and before you can expect to get some sort of a result from it, because it is long term. So I think social media can be part of your overall strategy. John, you mentioned a lot of different things that you're doing. Peter, you talk, you rely heavily on one-to-one email kind of things that enhance and complement your current strategies. And so while social media is useful in generating leads, it can't be put all on its own. And I think that that's something that people sort of have to learn on their own, but hopefully this conversation will help move them in that direction, because everybody on this panel has considerable experience trying that out. I mean, Carrie, how long, Carrie, have you been doing social media? And if you could just do your best to raise the volume of your voice, because we are not getting you very well on our audio, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Okay. I've been in social media for about 7 years now. I started doing it for my newspaper in college, and then I've taken on many clients since then, working at different agencies. And I want to agree with Peter and John. It's not just me running this contest, and it's not our full strategy at all. There's been content developed around this client. There have been additional efforts made by all of the departments. They also just, they're upgrading their website, they're doing email marketing. It contributes to every aspect, and without my team and everyone's communication, it wouldn't be successful just by putting it up. There were months of planning. There was at least a 3-month strategy implemented. So this, again, is just one example. We have plenty of other clients partaking in different strategies, but it's one that made sense for this client at the time.
Okay. And I am going to, Mia, can you just jump in here? Did you want to make a comment in public?
I did. Well, and I'm so bummed I can't hear you. So, Carrie, I would love to connect with you. Obviously, we're all here in Denver, but we're on Hangouts, which is fabulous. So, but you know, guys, I love this idea of, it's kind of a profiling type of thing, and I love that. And then what I love sewing together is not only having that idea of who my perfect client is, who I really want to go after, and then sharing that with my live circles as well. And that way I know who I'm approaching on social media, who I want to get in touch with, and then really nailing that down and knowing who it is. Then I can share it in conversations on Google Plus, or like somebody talking to Debi, or within my circles, and that way they all know this is who Mia is looking for. This is the type of person she wants to connect with. So you can use not only that algorithm or that recipe of this is the perfect person I want to approach, but then everybody in your circles knows it too. I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of an organic, not only have I got it down to a science, but then everybody that's in my sphere and my A-list and circles knows who I'm looking for as well.
And I want to put up this comment here. This is directed at Mia. Does Mia Voss use other means of reaching her audience other than social media? And this is a conversation that actually could go on probably for years, because Mia, I know that you are tightly connected everywhere. I mean, thank God for social media, because that's how I found you. I can't believe we're in practically the same neighborhood.
Isn't that funny?
You've got a lot of connections everywhere. And so if you just want to answer quickly to Sandra,
Sure.
because it's a good question.
Hi, Sandra. I can't wait to meet you either. You know, I have a combo plate of it. It's definitely, I use this line. I have a mastermind group here in Denver that I'm really tight with, and that's what I was thinking of when I was just talking about that, of who my people is that I share with. So I always say I've kind of got this, I've got two worlds. I've got the 303, which for those of you watching, that's our area code. We could call it the 5280. And then I've got this world on Google Plus that in the last year has just completely exploded. And you know, my goal this year is to sort of sew those two together so that there's more of a connection between that. But I would say definitely social media. The Hangouts like this has definitely changed my life. And then I am a boots on the ground girl with, I've got this group Crave Denver that's for women entrepreneurs here in Denver. But again, that's why I have the Mia Connect, because I'm a unisex girl, so I don't want to have all women in this community. And here I really love sewing it together. We've all got something that we bring to the table. So it is a combination of, I guess I almost don't consider it social media in the sense of more like that's a form of communicating, but then the personal hangouts and then the hangouts on air are a really big way that I build relationships.
And so I'd just like to encourage you, anybody watching this, in the comment section, anywhere you see plus Mia Voss, you can just click on that, and that's going to take you to Mia's G Plus profile, and you go to her About page, and you can see what she's all about, and she's about a lot of stuff. So, Mia, thank you for jumping in here at the last minute and attempting to help us out. It's great. I feel really privileged to have you on here, and hopefully one day you'll be able to come and visit us at our social media meetup group. I know
I did see that. I would have to pack a lunch and get up very early, darling, but for you, I would do it.
And it's also the day where you have your social media power chat, or your Mia Connect power chat.
Is it on Fridays?
They're on Fridays.
Oh
yeah,
shoot, that is a tough one. But you know what? With that being said, I do have a weekend version every month as well. The next one's going to be on February 8th. So look for me at your place on February 7th. How's that?
Well, except we only have them on the third Friday of every. We're really going to have to coordinate.
Do you see that?
The schedule.
I might have to clone myself.
Maybe we can have you attend by HOA. How about that?
I would love that. And actually, I want to throw this out here. I am thinking about putting together, and we could sew this together, a live hangout on air with everyone that's in Denver. So your group, and then sort of all the other people that may not be in this group. So get ready for, get ready for some fur to fly in a good way.
That would be wonderful. Thank you again, Mia. I know that I dragged you away from something, so thank you for being here.
Okay, everybody. Thanks, Debi.
All right.
Okay.
So,
bye, everyone.
Bye.
I would like to bring up a comment here by it's from Richard Oppenheim, and I've been seeing Richard on Google Plus, and then I finally got to shake hands with him last Friday at our meetup. Social media is also reminders that you are still here. Communicating to existing clients is even more important than new leads. And thank you, Richard, because that's a great point. I mean, we're talking about generating leads, of course, but we never want to lose sight of the fact that we use social media also to nurture those relationships once we have them. I think Mike Hanberry actually might have a statistic in some of the handouts that he gave us mentioning that a good portion of those people who follow you on social media are already your customers. They already know you. They're already your friends. You went to high school with them or whatever. And so, you know, when you're voicing your whatever, your message on social media, those folks are already your customers. I guess, you know, what we use social media for is we want to make our message shareable, and we hope that because they're our customers, they love us and they trust us, they will share our message using social media, which is another extension of using social media to generate leads. You have your existing client base, our customer base, working as your marketing team basically, because they are sharing as a testimony to your credibility and your trustworthiness. So Richard, thanks for mentioning that, because our existing clients are really important as part of our social networks. So and then just to let me see. We're at about we've got about 10 minutes or so before we need to wrap here. Peter, can you tell us a little more about the CRM? And I think that we had a comment here from Leland Watson II. They use an Adobe Business Catalyst as their CRM. I'm just going to read it because it's a really long message. Adobe Business Catalyst as their CRM because their website is built on that platform. Maybe I do need to bring up the whole comment. It's really quite lengthy, and I don't know how much of it will show. Much of the content management is automated, and much of it is manually entered, so it ties traditional and new media together in one place with one dashboard. So that's, for those of you watching, that might be something that you would want to go check out. And then you can converse with Leland about how that's working for him. It sounds pretty powerful, like pretty powerful stuff. So Lee, thanks for putting that up there as another reference that our viewers can look at in the comment section regarding client relationship management. But I love the way this conversation went from social media to relationship because of client relationship management, personas, which has a lot to do with relationship. Peter, any more that you can offer on the best way to use the CRMs?
Well, our CRM is very industry specific, so I'm not sure that I would really have a lot to contribute in terms of to the rest of the group. But one thing that I would like to throw out there, John, this is where we should bust out the coffee and donuts rule. I think talking about the new clients or current clients connect to you on social, John and I were talking that back in the day, I was a theater major, and then I'm 6 feet 7 inches tall, and I realized that I was going to be a very unique commodity as a professional actor, so I looked elsewhere for potential career. But one of the things that they taught us was when you're auditioning, you can go in and give the best audition that they've seen in 3 weeks, but if you come across as a bit of a jerk, they might not hire you. They might pick the other guy who was an 8 if you were a 10, but the other guy would be a whole lot more fun to have coffee and donuts with on a Saturday morning at 6 o'clock. So how I think that applies is social media for current clients it's your opportunity to enhance that likability. To make sure that, like an example we have, both of our founders recently were named to the MSP Mentor 250 list. It's a list for the MSP IT managed service providers of the 250 top executives in the world, and we highlighted that in our newsletter, and we got feedback saying that felt really good from clients to know that both of our guys were at the top of their game.
And now I have to unmute myself again. Thank you, John, for muting me. I forgot I was in a room with other folks. And so yeah, and so you know what you reminded me of because of this theater thing and the entertainment part. You know, Carrie, your contest does really have an entertainment value to it. It's a game, a little bit of a game, but I mean that's not the only kind of entertainment. I think you know what Peter's talking about is being personable and likable and being the kind of guy that or the kind of gal that you want to spend time with. So as far as using social media to generate leads, I'm going to switch that around and say using social media to attract leads. What do you consider entertainment? And John, you're in the art and imaging business, so entertainment must be a huge element in what you do.
Well, yeah, you know, our specialty is creatives, and our entire team are creatives. We label ourselves as artists working for artists, and some of us are creatives in the visual field. Some of us are creatives in the music field. I myself, for instance, was in rock and blues bands for many years. So yeah, there is a fair amount of entertainment industry that we work with, you know, but for the most part, we find that those people who are working in the entertainment industry, except for the real big, you know, heavy hitters, they really fit that starving artist persona. You know, they're working or living paycheck to paycheck, day to day, hand to mouth, and they're looking for the absolute best possible deal on their 8x10 glossies, you know, which are rapidly going the way of the dodo bird, you know, through electronic media now. But as a result of that, they're not really a target audience because we're not really going after the people who are looking for the cheapest because they can get that at Walmart or Costco. We really want to do business with the people who are looking for the best, the highest quality, and that doesn't come at the cheapest price. So while we do have some of the entertainment industry people coming through, those folks that are looking for the best possible product for their own marketing or for whatever they're using their product for, we do get some of the entertainment people come through from time to time. Did that answer your question?
That did, and it just makes me think it must be really hard to entertain people who are entertainers. So I think you've really got your work cut out for you. But entertainment is such an important part of it. You want to be the person that people want to sit down and have coffee and donuts with. And you know, I'm just going to take this opportunity to say, you know, normally when we're meeting, we have in real life meetups. Coffee and donuts. Well, it's actually coffee and muffins. Pete's Coffee and my favorite muffins. So I just want to give them a shout out because they keep us nourished during our monthly in real life meetings. But that's it. Peter, you just brought that to mind when I thought coffee and donuts, that'd be kind of nice right now, or muffins. Muffins would be good too. So, you know, but and now, Carrie, I want to come right back here because I do want to leave some people with some tips. I want to remind people that there's a social media tips page on the Webolutions website. I put a link to it in the comment section of this event. Carrie, in the green room, you told me that right now you're pretty much you're trying to grease the skids in that on that page of the Webolutions website. For those who are listening to this, can you tell us what kind of activity you would like to see on that and how people can benefit from that page when they go to it for some tips?
Yeah, what you can do is you can add your own tips on the tips section page when you just arrive there. You also can go in and like and vote for your favorite tip, and that appears as a default then on the page to what is most valuable for the audience. So it becomes really valuable. You can search by Facebook tips, you can search by Twitter tips, you can search by LinkedIn tips. And the bigger the resource that becomes, the more valuable it's going to be. So we encourage anyone to add any tips they have, any resources they're using, what's helped you generate leads, what's helped you convert leads into sales, what's helped you develop the persona and how you're talking to them, just anything that you've done that has benefited your business or your clients would be great.
Okay, so if anything has inspired you in this conversation today, you know, and you've got a great tip. Please go add that, because we would love to. We'd love to build up that database as a resource, not only for those folks here in Denver, but anybody who can type webolutions.com into the browser. I'm going to pull up. Let me see here. Okay, John, I want to make sure that you go to the comment section, because there's you're not tagged in there, but there is a question for you. In fact, do you want to bring that up? John, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think I have it up.
There we go. So go ahead.
Okay, so yes, we are running contests. We frequently will run an image contest, for instance, on Facebook, where we will have a theme. Every Wednesday we have a theme where people can upload images of, whether it be the photographic or some other type of media, watercolor, oils, what have you, that fit within a theme. Well, once a month we'll take a theme. We'll randomly pick one of these themes, and we will turn it into a contest where the image that gets the most likes on Facebook, then that person is awarded some high-value gift. So it could be a 30 by 40 or a 20 by 30 or something larger in the way of a reproduction of their work. It doesn't have to be the specific image that won the contest. It can be any image that they want. So it's a fairly high-value gift, and so it's up in the $300 to $400 range potentially. And what we have found this does is it does increase our Facebook following, because in order to like something that's on a Facebook page, company page, you have to already like that page, right? You can't interact with that post unless you like the page. Now it's only just semi-successful, because if I go on there, I post an image and I want all my friends to come on and like it so I can win, well, then what do I get? As the person running the page, I get a whole bunch of people who aren't part of our targeted persona, right? So the contests are less about building our likes and less about building our leads and more about just simply living our brand. Part of our brand is that we love to get out there and support the professional creative. We love to support them by going to their gallery openings, providing them with education, providing them with tools, and by creating these contests and getting all of these people to come in and look at this work that's been posted, in a way we're giving all of those who have participated in this theme exposure. Right? We could be potentially driving hundreds, if not thousands, of people to come in and look at all of this work that's been posted based on this theme, and these people get exposure out of it. So it's really become more of an opportunity to live our brand than it is a method to generate leads through contests. The other half of that question was, are we looking for new clients? We're always open to new clients. The type of clients that we love are the ones that have passion about what they're doing. When they're passionate about it, there's just something magical that happens when we interact with them, because we're passionate about working with creatives and working on their art as creatives ourselves. So when we can pull someone who is of like mind and like passion together in a project, oh my gosh, the magic that can come out of that is just incredible. And I don't mean just by the quality of the product, because that's always amazing, but the magic in the relationship building. Imagine going to your job every day. I'm not going to use the word work. I'm going to use the word job. You go to your job and you get to work with people who have become friends. Right? Because you have so much in common and you have a heartfelt connection as a result of being creative. So we're always looking for creative clients, individuals who can come in and share their passion. We so enjoy that. We so enjoy that. We love living a creative lifestyle by working hand in hand with other creatives. I do have a question for Carrie, though. Now that we're back on the contest conversation here, and when I see this contest that this carpet company is running, right? For those who may not be aware of it, the idea is that, if I have this right, is that they get to go on to Facebook, right? They like the Facebook page, and they have to craft a paragraph or whatever of why they need new carpet, right? Which on one hand I think is absolutely brilliant, because you're creating a ready-made set of leads who have already told you what their hotspot is, what their trigger point is for needing your product, right? It sounds absolutely amazingly brilliant. But what you also get is you end up with a percentage of those people that are participating simply because it's free, right? So they're almost a warm lead. They're not really looking for your product unless I can get it for free, right? So what has been set up on the back end to handle, or is there a way that through this process you're discerning those people that are warm leads via those people that are cold leads, so that you're not burning a bunch of time from your sales reps having to pick up the phone and have a conversation or communicate with these people who don't really want to buy the product. They just want the free product.
Right, and on those, when you read them, you can really tell which ones are authentic and which ones are meant to try and be entertaining and get free carpet. So that's where we're kind of looking at them and deciding, maybe this person is a little bit more qualified for the possibility of winning this contest than the person that's just kind of having fun and joking around. One thing, though, that it really is helping us do as well, with the telling the story part of why they deserve new carpet or think they should win, is that's also driving content for us. That's content we can use in our press releases. Those are stories we can share on Facebook. And when other fans and other people read those, they connect with them. It provokes an emotion that connects them to the brand and to the company and the whole reason that we are giving away the carpet. So it's something that has been really valuable for content all around, and it shows that there are real people out there with real emotions that really do need this. And I think it restores a little bit of faith and integrity within the brand of Sloane. They are discounted carpet, but they're there to help you. They're not there just to try and sell a cheap product. It is a value, and it is something that can be very useful in someone's home.
So have they then developed a strategy then to take this content once it's been delivered to them, and are they putting secondary and tertiary processes in place to additionally live their brand in a way that reaches out to many of these people who are still in need?
That's something, the contest does not end until the second week in February. The winner will be announced on the 14th. So I believe the contest ends on the 11th. And that's something we'll organize for them, and we'll give them recommendations on, these are people that we think you should act on. These are people maybe not. And there also was a strategy behind it as well to offer another discounted type of service towards the people that did enter, determine upon our recommendations of where they should go.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to see how this plays out. We heard about this, as Debbie mentioned. We heard about this at the last meetup on Friday, and our team has been informed about it. We've immediately gone into a brainstorming mode of how can we take a similar idea and put this into play in a way that allows us to live our brand and deliver some type of value to someone on the other end. Not just in a lead generating method, as I mentioned, but in some fashion that allows us to perpetuate our brand and give people value, return to the community. So thanks for sharing that idea. It's an amazing one, and it sounds like it's got such incredible potential. I'm really hoping that you and Mike and the rest of the team will be willing to share some more in-depth detail as the story develops, as they say.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to hear that case study, and that's what I appreciate about these extended conversations, these continued conversations, so that we could build up on that. I think that having a case study like that, something we can follow, it's tangible. So I encourage anybody listening to use these ideas, customize them for your own specific needs, but allow these conversations to prompt your own thinking and develop your own strategies for using social media. we are wrapping up. We're in our last minute. I'm going to ask each of you to just do a quick sign-off, perhaps a call to action, and maybe where people can find you to know more, and then we'll wrap it up here in about a minute. Go ahead, Peter.
I'm sorry, I was responding to a tweet. We've got
Oh,
Sean.
that's okay. You know what? We're gonna go to Carrie then, and we'll
Okay.
come back to you for your sign-off.
You bet. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for joining, and just like everything Debi has put up on the chat for everyone to use, they are great resources. And if you're interested in some of the things we are doing or finding more tips, definitely make sure to visit our tips section and also to contribute to it as well.
Great, thank you. John?
Thank you. You can reach out to us at readphoto.com. I can't quite see my my lower third, so I'm not certain that I have it down there. I'll pull it up in another lower third before we sign off, though, because I know I do have it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, by all means, reach out to us at readphoto.com if you're a creative professional or even a creative amateur. We just we love the experience of working with additional creative or other creatives. So come on by, share a cup of coffee, take a tour. Let's talk about what it is you do. Let's talk about what it is you're passionate about. And maybe there's a way we can work together to develop a fantastic working relationship.
Okay, thank you. Peter?
All right, sorry about that. We had
No problem.
SMG activity on Twitter. I appreciate the conversation. It's always good to keep talking it through and kind of sounding out high-level strategy down to tactics like this. And then for Marathon Consulting, if you are spending too much time thinking about your network and not thinking about taking great photos or marketing on social media or connecting with clients, but you're spending way too much time messing with your computer, let us know at marathonconsulting.com.
Great, thank you. Again, this was an HOA by SMG Denver for SMG Denver and anybody else who joined us. We really appreciate the comments that came through the stream. I'm Debi Davis, signing off here, but we hope that you will join this conversation, add your tips to the Webolutions tips page, and any comments to the to this stream. Thanks everybody for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll see you again in a month to talk about our next conversation at our SMG Denver meetup. Thank you very much, guys. And folks on the panel, don't click off. I'm just going to stop our broadcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.